you first went blind,
Hmm.
and then you started losing your kidneys,
Yeah.
and then your pancreas might were also gone.
Well, yeah, it was already gone from age 7 when I got diagnosed with diabetes. I was 7, and so I had to start insulin shots and blood sugar regulations, and that was basically the root cause of all the stuff that came after.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was shitty. That was really shitty. I couldn't say that I had a very normal upbringing in that sense. You know, I've been operated on for about 60 times. I lost count, so I stopped count.
Upright?
60 operated. So
Oh,
surgery and treatment. I have scars all over my body,
okay.
and yeah, so 60 times 60 in the last 30 years. That's an average of about 2 a year. So and I had hundreds of hospitalizations and literally tens of thousands of needles. I stopped counting that as well. But
Okay.
it's been a unusual type of living.
Okay, but are you on any medications right now?
Well, yeah, just one basically, which is to make sure that my transplanted organs, will not be rejected by my body, and that's it.
Okay. And who gave you the organs?
I wish I knew, but they don't tell me.
Okay.
Actually, there's a law preventing you from finding out who that is, unless it is a relative or somebody who you
Okay.
know is willing to
Okay. Okay.
give you
Okay.
one.
Okay.
But they never told me.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it's a woman, by the way.
How do you know that? Because you feel a big bitch.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I became way more bitchy in the last 8 years. No, it's I don't know if you ever read something or maybe watched something on YouTube, but there's more organ transplantees who mention that they basically integrate a part of the habits or the rituals from the donor person.
Mhm.
And I one thing I never sat cross-legged before.
Okay.
In the last 8 years, this is my go-to position when I just sit on a chair,
Okay.
and I mean, it's very obvious to say that it's quite feminine to do it, and definitely not for a guy. I mean, your balls would be squeezed to
Yeah.
to slush.
Uh-huh.
So and yeah, it's I truly believe this, that there's kind of like this whole DNA thing that you
Yeah.
just get integrated with your own, and then yeah.
It, like for me, it actually depends. If it's a cold day, I prefer to sit cross-legged because like you feel a bit, you can block a bit of air, and you feel closed. You know.
Yeah.
But then again, like my normally when I sit, like it's usually the usual way, the usual way for men.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there is a better understanding, a deep understanding to stuff that goes on, like the person's aura,
Yep.
the person's DNA. It's
Yep.
still in the cells, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah.
I read this one story once where an older lady got I think it was a heart transplant, and she woke up, and one of the first things that she said is like, I feel a huge craving for hamburgers, and she was a vegetarian, and she couldn't find out why that was. I mean, she definitely was not in the line of eating hamburgers. And long story short, she found out that the donor was a younger man whose lifestyle basically was eating hamburgers all day, like typically American.
Okay.
And yeah, this is proved to be factual over the last decade or even more.
Okay.
So it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's there's a deep understanding to you. And like what I really feel bad about the organ transplants is that like we can do much more with the stem cell grafting and the stem cell research.
Yep.
But like we have these stupid ass bitches who don't want to give up the fetuses, which is basically lifeless, and you're throwing it away. Instead, that can be used to make a new organ, give someone a new entry to life. But still people don't want to do this and explain me how good of a Christian you are or how good of a Hindu you are. Like, do you know that the major reason in India people don't want to denote their organs is because they want to preserve the sanctity
Yeah,
of the body.
yeah.
But if it's not used for you anymore, give it away, because life form is different. Your three-dimensional meat suit is different. Once the life form leaves the meat suit, it's no use hanging on to the meat suit.
No purpose whatsoever.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like everyone has a meat suit. Like when they enter into this three-dimensional time and space, like everyone gets a meat suit.
I like this
And
term, by the way. It's kind of like going out, and like, honey, what are you going to wear tonight? Wow, I'm thinking about wearing my meat suit. What do you think? That's a good color. It matches your eyes.
I saw this in a trip. Like I understood, like this is a tube, and in the end you have another two tubes separating for water and for solid waste.
Yeah,
And so your entire body is shaped around this,
yeah,
so sort of this tube.
yeah,
And I was questioning, so what is abhi? So I was like, okay, these are my eyes, which are organs, which preserve, which take in the reality, which sees stuff and act stuff. So am I just a brain, or who am I? So even if you think of the brain is just another organ.
yeah. It just transmits electricity.
Exactly.
It interprets what the eyes and all the other senses give as input. That's it. I mean, that's not even, your brain has a completely different reality from the reality that your senses observe.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's a very philosophical question. Apart from the question, who am I? What is reality? What is real?
Yeah.
And then you get to the question I once read, that what is real is, or what is real is that what never changes. And so then the question is, what will, or what is never changing, and then, like you're saying, you're not your meat suit, you're not your hair, you're not
Yeah.
your emotions, because they change all the time.
Yeah.
If
So
I
what is the life force? That becomes the question.
Exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah,
So this is the reason why in the stronger sustainable kingdoms, for instance, humans evolved a really long time back, but we have this so sudden change of climate change, this higher levels of depression, anxiety, because people are facing shit that we needn't be facing.
yeah,
So you're put into an existential crisis, and you put yourself into an existential crisis
yeah.
by considering shit that you shouldn't be considering.
Well, yeah, and existentialism in that sense is still going strong. I mean, after, in the Middle Ages, there was no, you were not busy with existentialism. You were not wondering, like, why am I here? What's my purpose for life? Because, either God or the king just gave it to you. That was
Yeah,
how it worked. But now, since the religion, and I try to use the quote very, very carefully, and very generally as well, is decreasing. The number of people who still follow their religion is decreasing. There is much more space and much more room for free interpretation, and therefore, the question, or the questions arise: why am I here? What
yeah,
is my purpose for being here?
exactly.
What is my life about? What is all this life about?
Exactly. There used to be a time when kings invested time and money on it.
Yeah,
This is why you have many ashrams in India, like sort of places that sponsor these gurus or sadhus into questioning the
yeah,
very existence
yeah,
or finding ways to transcend life.
yeah,
Because many of the medicines, or all of the medicines, your body can produce it itself, or it's very easy for the earth to be producing it.
yeah,
But right now, the very physical element of life became so overwhelming, people stop believing in the understanding the deeper connection.
yeah.